I've got some exciting bits of info for you today. They involve the animator that the entire fandom swooned over for weeks and weeks and weeks. It is, of course, Yuya Takahashi. But first, let's quickly rattle off some info so everyone's on the same page. I think context is pretty important to understanding why this is great news. During the special, he pops up and wowed us with a flawless rotation leading into a pretty absurdly violent Kamehameha, but it was his first time supervising that really solidified him as someone who absolutely has to stick around on Super. It was just too gorgeous to even consider letting him go. He really reminded us that good character designs, especially those that channel the greatest parts of Dragon Ball's best designs of old, can do wonders of entirely changing the dynamic of a show. Aesthetic is so important in creating tone, and his artwork created one hell of a mood that turned what could have been a pretty mediocre episode into something very memorable. I don't think I've ever seen a reaction quite like what we got with episode 114. Fans went wild, myself included, praying that he'd become a regular, or perhaps even influence the series' overall designs in some way. In the past, we've had great animators like Shuichi Iseki show up and showcase some pretty great stuff, but they never came back. Sometimes animators do just show up as a favor and then go back to their usual projects. It's not unusual, but it's always frustrating. Takahashi showed up again in episode 115 doing some second key animation. It was a tiny contribution, it didn't really say much about the possibility of him sticking around. It's very easy to wave something like that away by saying like, oh, maybe he was just helping out off the back of 114 or something. So with that said, let's move on to what the actual news is. First up, Takahashi revealed that he only had 3 weeks to make episode 114. That is absolutely unbelievable. That's like chief animation supervisor levels of speed. Super's schedule at its worst point was around that number, so to have Takahashi show up and deliver an episode as polished as that in such a short amount of time really is just mind-blowing. Not only was he able to put out that short scene at the start of the episode, but the second half was basically 100% corrected from start to finish with seriously detailed drawings across every single cut. The amount of work on display from one man there is just breathtaking. He's definitely someone who's made for Super's punishing schedule, and that's great to see because the second piece of news is that he's actually returning again. He is currently working on episode 122 right now. He hasn't said if he's supervising or just doing key animation. It's very likely that it's the former though, but we'll know for sure once we get this month's staff lists. If he started working on this immediately after episode 114, then he's getting the full 8 weeks that the best supervisors are granted on the series. Even if he just began this week, which is probably unlikely, we'll at least be getting something on par with 114, if not slightly better. If he gets the full time, I suspect we'll be seeing one of Super's best episodes considering what he managed to do in just 3 weeks. With him returning, that makes 4 contributions to the main episodes, obviously excluding the opening, so it's natural that I think a lot of us are now wondering if he's going to be sticking around for quite some time. Again, he is a freelancer, he's not part of Toei, so there's never any guarantee there. Thankfully, the next bit of info does help to put some of those worries to rest. Lupin III is a franchise that Takahashi's been involved in a fair bit in the past, and currently a new series is in the works that would have the potential to steal Takahashi away from Super again. He revealed that he is in fact working on this new series, but he said he won't be as involved as he was in the past, so it's definitely looking good on that front. I think the big decider will be when Fairy Tail's final series comes out with its full staff. Takahashi has been a huge part of that series, so if there were ever a show that was going to steal him away from Dragon Ball again, it would be that one. At the very least, it does seem like he'll be sticking around for now, and I could not be more excited. I really hope he sticks with the style he adopted for 114. We've seen he's capable of sticking to the model sheets, so the nostalgic approach was definitely a conscious decision. Hopefully nobody asks him to rein it in. Episode 122 is looking to air right around Christmas, so fingers crossed we get to call him Santa Takahashi as he showers us with a lovely gift of an episode. At this point, we have no idea what 122 will cover, but I get the feeling it may be the start of Universe 7's big showdown with Universe 11 as we head into the final stretch of the tournament. That's just going under the impression that the tournament itself will wrap up in February, with the post stuff taking us through to the March month that we've been told is where the arc 100% wraps up. So that is it. That's the big news. Please give me your thoughts and reactions down below. Let's all get excited. Let me know a couple of things. Firstly, what you hope he brings to the table, and secondly, what story content you hope this this episode covers. I'm currently working on episode 118's animation breakdown. If you're watching this video as soon as it came out, then check back later for that, and in the meantime, why not see what my favorite animators are in the video I released on Friday. Otherwise, if you're watching this in the future, then definitely go check out that breakdown. It was one hell of an episode. Tate is just wonderful when he's let loose. But thanks for listening. We should have the rest of the Star for Super in the next few days, so do look out for my coverage on that. Be sure to rate this video, and of course, I will see you next time.